and welcome to episode 257 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is September 5th, and together with Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So today we don't have any special guest with us, so we thought we would take a look at some of the latest news from the SAP and Microsoft ecosystem. In earlier episodes, we had actually a regular news block, but we shifted to more specific topics with experts. So maybe we will have to dedicate news episodes from time to time and introduce them again. But for now, let's quickly get started. Goran, we start with some infrastructure news.
Let's start a bit with infrastructure and exciting news. New VMs queues, MBV3. There is a general availability for them. They are a kind of what is a very specific. They have the newest CPUs. They are very optimized, let's say, for the typical database load, Oracle, SQL Server, and whatever, When you see they have a high CPU, many CPU, not so much this one. The biggest one is, I think, almost 4 terabytes of RAM. Not so big, But when you look the throughput on a premium V2 on a table, for example, it's 550, the right one. This is for the SSD, and the run one, exactly 550,000 IOPS, and throughput is 10 GB, and network throughput is 50 GB. So they are really kind of very much optimized for the high also storage performance as well, compute and storage, which means they would be excellent for the database. But one thing is they are not yet certified for SAP.
Oh, okay.
But it's behind the corner. Yeah, it's behind the corner. I mean, we do have them as a general availability, okay, but generally when you run something on SAP, it's everybody would ask for the certification. It's behind the corner, let me say. So people can just check from time to time those SAP note, on the release, and can expect that they would see some these new VMs queues. Yeah. Another part would be a very nice blog from Vamshi about the backup Oracle database using Azure VM Backup. And actually he wrote, this is just a summary. Somewhere there is a link to download. Yeah. Exactly. He put it really I think kind of 20 pages document with step-by-step instruction how to configure it, how to enable it, how to restore the database. Of course we're talking about the consistent application state. Very nice, very useful. There are many Oracle customers also running here on the Linux using it. So very nice, very detailed document. Maybe we would organize a dedicated session for you, but definitely something.
Yes, we should invite him and ask if he wants to talk about this in more detail.
Exactly, but very nice. I mean, generally there is always a tendency that customer wants to use an Azure services, right? Like Azure Backup, because they want one pane, they don't want 1,000 different solutions, and then it's always about the integration with the different thing. And here is integration with the Oracle. So this is very nice. Yeah. So I think that would be from an infrastructure side, so to say, and we can switch to also exciting. Yeah.
But this is also more or less infrastructure, right? So it is. SAP released this Deepens European cloud sovereignty offerings to unlock innovations. And I mean, this is an announcement or a news article from SAP, but actually, obviously, there's also a lot of implications on the Microsoft side. So first of all, I mean, they call out Delos Cloud. So there's this joint collaboration there where we're working very closely with SAP on making sure that SAP runs on Azure in a very, sovereign environment, basically. So I think that is one thing where this announcement from SAP really also shows the close collaboration between SAP and Microsoft. And similar, actually, when we look at the first thing here, the SAP Cloud infrastructure in Europe, there again, I mean, if we look at our data centers that we have in Amsterdam, in Germany, in Sweden, in Ireland, there's also a very close collaboration with SAP to make sure that SAP workload can run on Azure in Europe. So I think there it's really great to see that SAP and Microsoft are really working also there to
which
bring
is very
sovereignty in
much
Europe.
demanding from governments and high security
Absolutely.
profile customers, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this was still very much infrastructure related. Maybe from a broader perspective, the DSAG, the German-speaking SAP user group, they have their yearly conference. I think like 5,000 customers or participants from Germany, Switzerland, Austria will come to Bremen. There are some great keynote speakers. So Thomas Saueressig will be there from the SAP side and have a keynote, which is always pretty good. Actually, it is actually also streamed, so you can also watch it online on YouTube. And I think actually there's also even a translation service available. So obviously this is in German,
Okay.
but I think
Yes.
even on site they'll have an app or something like that where they do live translation into English. So that might also be good. The interesting thing is, so there are really, I don't know how many hundreds of presentations, but actually there's also an SAP with Microsoft track. And in this track, we have quite a lot of interesting customers that talk about different aspects of how they are using SAP and Microsoft. So we have one customer that talks about how they use RISE with BTP in digital manufacturing with Azure. So this is IFM Group. They're talking about this. Then we have Axel Springer talking about this, also pretty cool, about self-service and automation. So again, this combination using automation tools also from the Microsoft side together with SAP. And finally, basically, the next step or something similar here with the Power Platform, where Ascorium together with a partner Syntax, where they developed an ordering and approval process via the Power Platform and Teams, and that is also something that I saw already to some extent, and it's also pretty cool. So we'll have these presentations on site. We have these customers talking about their collaboration between SAP and Microsoft, and the slides will also be available afterwards. So I think that's always pretty cool, actually.
And this is nice to see the end-to-end offering from Microsoft, what is there from infrastructure up to platform as a service, as well up to also integration into business processes. It's really
that's actually also really what I thought is really cool, that here, I mean, this is more like infrastructure specific topics, but then really, as you said, end to end, from the infrastructure to a Teams integration in the end.
So the motto would be here, you name it, we have it, So,
yeah, in a lot of cases, let's put it like this. Good. Moving on, there were a few other really interesting blog posts, not necessarily directly related to Microsoft, but I think also in a broader context. So we have spoken about MCP, the Model Context Protocol. Actually, we had also Alice on our show, and she talked about her OData to MCP bridge, and then she showed us how easy it is then to use really Copilot to connect to an SAP system via the OData services. And it was very clear that more and more MCP servers will show up. And now actually SAP also has already released a few really official MCP servers. So there's an MCP server for UI5, for CAP, the Cloud Application Programming Model, for Fiori tools, which basically helps you if you are developing in GitHub Copilot, for example. You can just leverage these MCP servers, and then you can develop more easily. And Marian, he looked at these different MCP servers, and he tested them and really thought, look, is it do they bring some good value? And he has really some some nice overview when to use what. He has different tests, and he also looked at them, and he provides some verdicts there, that he's really excited actually that SAP is really jumping on the MCP track, basically, that they're releasing this. I mean, yes, this is a first release, and he still says that here he prefers to have a local client with an MCP service, but still, I think overall this is really great. We see that MCP is being adopted, that there are more and more customers and also partners like SAP releasing these MCP servers, and that we all can benefit from them by just plugging them in developing it.
Yeah, it's a huge hype. I mean, and for good reason with the
Yes.
MCP servers, because they generally bridge so many gaps and bring so many things, different things together, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it's really, I mean, it's so simple once you have the MCP server. It's so easy to integrate this and in your development environment or in other tools. It's really, really amazing. Along these lines, I think yesterday, there was Wouter Lemaire. I don't know if I pronounce his name correctly, but he released an MCP server on the business technology platform. And that's actually really, really cool, because he's using a lot of ideas here inspired by the work from Alice, but then also using the CUP MCP plugin. So there's an open source CUP MCP plugin. There's also a docs MCP server from Marian, actually, and he combined all of this to provide an MCP server on top of BTP, and very much similar like what Alice showed. You can now use Claude or GitHub Copilot to just ask these questions here in your MCP client and really connect with your SAP system. Why this is different, or why this is now really cool, is because it is, I mean, it's not only using this one MCP server like in Alice's case, but you can also leverage the features of the business technology platform. So for example, really the BTP destination services. I mean, a lot of customers have the SAP Cloud Connector to connect their on-premise systems with BTP, and then they use, I don't know, cloud integration or whatever. And now with this, you can have your MCP server on BTP. You can connect to your backend systems. You have additional functionalities like the OData catalog that can be discovered. It's really, really, I mean, I have to admit, I have not yet tested it myself, so I have not yet deployed it on BTP. But reading through the documentation, I mean, it looks fairly easy to get started.
Yeah.
And then you can interact with your SAP system again. And that's what I find. I mean, I was so impressed by the work that Alice did, but now this is basically just taking this, putting on BTP and making it more accessible to customers that run BTP.
For me, it's always question on how to easily bring different things together in an easy way, you know. And it seems that really with MCP is going into that direction, really, in an easy way. Ability to join different sources and understand and create the context, which creates the huge value, so to say here. Yeah.
And this is, I mean, we're really just at the beginning, I would say, and what we see already now is amazing. And just imagine what we'll have in 6 months from now.
Yeah, looking forward.
Good. So that was a very short and quick news episode for this week. Next week we'll have some cool new things planned as well. So I hope everything works out. But next week we'll have some other interesting insights. Again, not a news episode. So yeah, see you next week, I guess.
See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.